You learn certain truths slowly, not all at once, not in a single conversation or revelation. You learn them the way water shapes stone, constant pressure over years, until the shape of your life is unrecognizable from what you thought it was. My name is Claire Donovan, I'm 34 now, and for 51 months, I quietly funded a life I was never invited to be part of. The morning of my wedding, standing alone in a venue parking lot, I called my mother. She picked up on the sixth ring. What she said wasn't cruel in volume, it was cruel in brevity, and 37 minutes later, when my father opened his banking app and saw what I'd done, the calls started coming, but by then, I was already walking down an aisle he'd chosen not to attend. Before I go further, I'm not asking you to be angry on my behalf, I'm asking you to listen, because this isn't about villains, it's about people who loved me in theory but couldn't show up in practice, and how long it took me to see the difference. It started in August 2020. I was 29, second-year resident in emergency medicine at a hospital outside Boston, $63,000 a year before taxes, after loan payments, insurance, and rent. I took home maybe $4,000 a month. My father, David, had just lost his job, 28 years at an automotive parts supplier. They restructured, eliminated his division. He was 59 with no degree and a savings account that covered 11 months if they were careful. My mother, Anne, called on a Thursday evening. I was between shifts, eating vending machine crackers in my car. She didn't cry. My mother wasn't a crier, but her voice had a thinness to it I hadn't heard before. We're going to lose the house, Claire. Your father's applying everywhere, but we can't make the mortgage. I did the math on the back of a hospital parking receipt, $2,000 a month. It would leave me tight, very tight, but possible. I set up the transfer that night, automatic, first of every month, my checking to their joint account. I told myself it was temporary. Temporary became 6 months, then a year, then longer. I worked 80-hour weeks. I lived in a studio apartment with a futon and a microwave I'd bought secondhand. Most of my meals came from the hospital cafeteria, wilted salads, day-old sandwiches, whatever hadn't been claimed by the day shift. My parents' life looked different. When I visited for Christmas 2020, their kitchen had been renovated, new countertops, stainless steel appliances, a farmhouse sink my mother showed me with obvious pride. We found a contractor through someone at church, such reasonable rates. I asked how they'd afforded it. My mother waved the question away like smoke. Your father handled it. My father, who hadn't worked in 9 months, who'd turned down a logistics position because the pay felt insulting, who'd told me 3 weeks earlier he couldn't find anything that matched his experience level. Nobody asked about my residency, nobody asked if I was sleeping, nobody asked if $2,000 a month was sustainable. Nobody said thank you. That same visit, my younger sister Natalie arrived in a car I didn't recognize, a white SUV, brand new. I asked her about it while we were setting the table. Oh, Mom and Dad helped with the down payment, early birthday gift. Natalie was 26. She'd been working part-time at a yoga studio and living with her boyfriend, Eric, for 2 years. She'd never mentioned saving for a car. I looked at my mother, who was arranging dinner rolls in a basket. You helped her buy a car? And didn't look up. She needed reliable transportation. I drove home that night in my 2012 Civic with a cracked windshield and 170,000 miles on it. The transfer went through 3 days later, like clockwork. I started keeping a spreadsheet in February 2021. Nothing elaborate, just dates and amounts, 1 column for what I sent, 1 column for the running total. Month 14, $28,000. I stared at that number for a long time, longer than I want to admit. $28,000 was a year of loan payments. It was a reliable car. It was breathing room. It was gone. I told myself I'd talk to them, reduce the amount, $1,500 instead of $2,000, still generous, still more than most adult children contribute. I called my mother on a Sunday morning. Mom, I need to talk about the transfers, my loans are. She cut me off, her voice didn't rise, it didn't need to. After everything we've done for you, everything we sacrificed. There it was, the word that ended conversations, sacrifice. I kept the transfers at $2,000. Met Owen in September 2021. He worked construction. A site near the hospital was being expanded, and his crew was handling the foundation work. I'd see him sometimes in the cafeteria during off hours, eating lunch he'd packed himself. We started talking, small things at first, weather, work, the universal complaints of long hours and bad coffee. He was 31, steady in a way I wasn't used to, no performance, no agenda, just a man who showed up when he said he would and meant what he said. It took me 4 months to tell him about the money. We were sitting in his truck after my shift one night, January cold, heater running. I said it quickly, the way you rip off a bandage. I send my parents $2,000 a month, have been for almost 2 years. Owen didn't react right away, he just looked at me, then out the windshield, then back. That's almost half your income. They need it. Do they? Nobody had ever asked me that before. I brought Owen home for Thanksgiving. My mother opened the door and assessed him the way you assess furniture you're not planning to buy. So, Owen, what is it you do? I'm in construction, concrete and foundation work mostly. And smiled, not warmly. That's practical. My father shook his hand without standing. Business doing okay? Steady. Natalie was there with Eric. She looked at Owen the way you look at something that doesn't quite fit the aesthetic. Do you have benefits? Health insurance? This from a woman who'd worked retail part-time and never had employer insurance in her life. Owen answered everything calmly, patiently, without trying to prove anything to people who'd already decided what he was worth. After dinner, I went to refill my water glass. The kitchen door was open. I heard my mother's voice from the hallway. A construction worker, our daughter, the doctor, with a construction worker, then my father, quieter, but clear. As long as the checks keep coming, I don't care who she's with. I stood there holding an empty glass. As long as the checks keep coming. Like I was a subscription, like love had a monthly fee. Owen proposed in March 2023. No restaurant, no grand gesture, just the two of us in his apartment after I finished a double shift. He had the ring in his jacket pocket, simple band, exactly what I would have chosen. I don't need an answer right now, but I need you to know, I want to build a life with you, a real one, not the one you're funding for someone else. I said yes before he finished. I called my parents that evening. Mom, Owen proposed. Silence. Then? Well, I hope you've thought this through. No congratulations, no excitement, just concern dressed up as caution. An hour later, my father called back. His voice was different, lower, the tone he used when my mother wasn't listening. Claire, this wedding, it's not going to affect our arrangement, is it? Dad, I'm getting married, I'm planning a life, things might need to adjust. Adjust. He repeated the word like it was in a foreign language. We depend on you, you know that, don't pull the rug out. I sat on the couch after we hung up. Owen sat next to me. He asked if the wedding would affect the money. Owen looked at me for a long time. Claire, you don't owe them your future. I knew he was right, but knowing something and doing something are not the same. We set the date, October 5th, a small venue in Vermont, barn with string lights, view of the hills going golden red. Budget, $24,000, our savings, no family contributions. I asked my mother if she wanted to help me shop for a dress. I'm busy, honey, Natalie needs help with the nursery. Natalie was 6 months pregnant. Every conversation in my family had started orbiting her. I sent save the dates in June. My parents got theirs, no response. 2 weeks later, my mother texted. October's complicated, Natalie's due in November, I need to be available. October, for weeks before November, but somehow October was impossible. That same week, I saw a post on Natalie's Instagram, a pink and gold invitation graphic. Join us for our gender reveal, Saturday, October 5th, 4 p.m. My wedding was at 2. I called Natalie. Your party's on my wedding day. Is it? I didn't realize. Her voice had no tension in it, no guilt. October 5th was the only day that worked for everyone. Everyone including Mom and Dad. Claire, I'm pregnant. This is about my baby. Not everything is about you. I hung up. I didn't call my parents. I didn't change my date. I opened my banking app and looked at the transfer history. 43 months, $86,000. And my sister had scheduled her party on my wedding day. 7 days before the wedding, I drove to my parents' house. I sat at their kitchen table, the table I'd eaten at for 18 years, the one where I'd done homework and opened birthday cards and learned what it meant to be the dependable one. And sat across from me, David stood by the counter. I need to know if you're coming to my wedding. My mother folded her hands. Claire, Natalie needs us. It's the same day, we can't be in 2 places. The ceremony's at 2, her party's at 4, you could come to both. We need to help her set up, she can't do it alone. She has Eric, she has friends. Anne's face didn't change, she's our daughter. She said it to me, also her daughter. David shifted his weight. And what about the money? You've been inconsistent. I stood up, my chair scraped the tile. I'm asking you one more time, will you be at my wedding? And looked at David. David looked at the floor. My mother's voice softened, but not in a kind way, in a tactical way. We'll try. I drove 90 minutes to hear 2 words that meant no. I woke up in the bridal suite at 7, gray light through lace curtains. Owen had texted at midnight. Tomorrow you become my family, officially. My college roommate Sarah helped with my hair. Owen's mother brought coffee and toast on a real plate. I checked my phone. 0 messages from my parents. Sarah saw my face. Still nothing? They're not coming. She didn't ask why. She just hugged me, and that was enough. The ceremony started at 2. 68 people. My side was smaller. A few cousins, friends from med school, my attending physician, Dr. Halsey, who'd noticed months ago that I looked exhausted and never asked why. Owen's side was full. His mother in the front row, his crew in jackets they didn't own until last week, family from Vermont who drove 3 hours without complaint. I walked myself down the aisle. Owen was already crying. We exchanged vows. His voice shook, mine didn't. I'd practiced this part, not the words, the steadiness. When it was over, 68 people stood and clapped. My parents were not among them. 3:15, between the ceremony and reception. I stepped outside, called my mother. She answered on the 4th ring. What? Not a question, a statement of interruption. I just got married. Silence, background noise, voices, laughter. We're at Natalie's. The reveal was beautiful. It's a boy. I just got married, Mom. 3 words, quiet, cold. Don't bother us. The line went dead. I stood there, phone in my hand, dress moving slightly in the wind. Somewhere inside, my husband was pouring champagne. I opened my banking app. Joint account with parents. I removed myself as co-owner. Confirmation said 24 hours. I canceled the automatic transfer, deleted the scheduled payment. Total severance, 4 minutes. Standing in a gravel lot in Vermont in my wedding dress, I unmade 4 years in less time than it takes to boil water. I put the phone away, went back inside. Owen saw my face. What happened? I'll tell you tonight. Right now I want to dance. The band was playing something slow. I put my head on his shoulder. He held me like I was worth holding. Somewhere in Massachusetts, my father's phone buzzed. But I didn't know that yet. First, I danced. It took David 40 minutes. He was holding a paper plate with blue frosting when the notification came through. Co-owner removed from account ending in 9823. He called 7 times, voicemail. Then the text started. Call me now. This isn't funny. You can't just cut us off. He checked the balance at an ATM, $412. He drove back to Natalie's house, walked inside, and was refilling a punch bowl. She shut it down. My mother set the ladle down. Not here. We have $400, and Natalie stood near the cake, blue balloon tied to her wrist. What are you talking about? Nobody answered, because answering meant admitting where the money had come from. That night, in a bed and breakfast overlooking a river, I checked my phone. 17 missed calls, 11 voicemails. I didn't listen to them. I screenshotted every notification, saved them in a folder I'd been building for months. Then I typed one message to both of them. I got married yesterday. You weren't there. The money stopped. These things are related. I hit send. Put the phone in the drawer. For the first time in 51 months, I fell asleep owing nobody anything. My father found work in early November, warehouse distribution, $16 an hour, the kind of job he'd called beneath him for 3 years. My mother got part-time retail, a home goods store, 3 days a week. The Instagram caption stopped. No more #blessed posts, no more weekend trips. Natalie and Eric sold the SUV, bought a sedan, used, 6 years old. 11 of the 17 extended family members who'd been at Natalie's reveal reached out to me. Most said the same thing, we didn't know. My grandmother, Anne's mother, called on a Sunday. Your mother's been telling people you abandoned them. I know, Grandma. I need you to tell me what actually happened. So I did. I sent her the spreadsheet, the transfers, the timeline, all of it. She called back an hour later. Her voice was different, thin. $86,000. Yes. And they missed your wedding for a balloon pop. Yes. She was quiet for a long time. Then, I'm ashamed of her. My mother hasn't called since October. Not once. My father called in mid-December. His voice was different, smaller. I got a job. Good. That was the whole conversation. 11 seconds. Not an apology, not an explanation, just a fact delivered to the one person who'd understand what it cost him to say it. Natalie sent a photo in January. Her son, round face, dark eyes. The text underneath, he has your nose. I saved the photo, didn't reply. I still have the spreadsheet. 51 months, $86,000. I haven't opened it since November, but I know it's there. What I open now is my loan balance, down $11,000 since October. At this rate, I'll be debt-free by 39 instead of 46. Owen and I eat dinner at our table most nights. Real meals, food we cook together. No cafeteria trays, no vending machine crackers. My grandmother sent me her mother's ring last month, gold band, thin from years of wear. The note said, "The people who choose you don't need to be paid." I don't wear it, but I keep it on my nightstand. I see it every morning. When people ask if I've forgiven my parents, I tell them the truth. Forgiveness isn't the right word. I've released them, from expectation, from obligation, from the version of me they needed in order to feel comfortable. The door isn't locked, it's closed. And the difference matters. I spent 4 years trying to buy my way into my own family. The price was always the same, not enough. The people who love you don't keep a ledger. And the people who keep a ledger were never loving you. They were billing you. My phone doesn't ding on the first of the month anymore. The silence is the most expensive thing I've ever earned. If you've ever been loved conditionally, you already know how this feels. If you've ever funded someone else's comfort while surviving on scraps, you know why I'm telling this story. Not for revenge, not for sympathy. But because someone needs to hear it. You are not the bank, you are the person. And you deserve to be loved like one.